and it looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Split One. This is the continuation of our FRL race here on Sunday of round 6. So, we watched Split 2. We saw some amazing battles, and I'm anticipating that to continue here into Split 1. So, one of the big battles I'm going to be watching is Jalajnet versus literally every other driver. Because, well, that's kind of what I anticipate happening. Is Jalajnet and some other drivers having a great time with each other here. Looking here at the driver standings, Jalajnet has a 58-point lead on his teammate Tazo. And then Tazo has a 5-point lead on 29 Belu. So, it's going to be great to watch both ways. Noda in P4, Bax P5, Jack back into P6, Frederick P7, P8 is Maddie, Debe in 9, Choppa in 10. So it's all going to be really, really, really great to watch. I'm very excited to see a strong race here. Looking at your constructors table, of course, Mercedes are in the lead by a dominating 99 points over Ferrari at the moment. Of course, losing Roloski out of FRL kind of made things a little bit weird there for Ferrari. So JJ and John Meister are your Ferrari drivers here. Insidious 29 Belu keeping Alfa Romeo in P3 by 1 point currently over Alpine. And then the gap all the way down is really tight. Red Bull with Santex and Matty are in P9 currently. And then Pafixian and Choppa and the Hasses are in P10. So very, very close battles going through there. Looking here at what happened last race, of course, weather was an issue, as it always is, but Noda getting P1, Jalajna in P2, Tazo P3, Bax P4, Debe P5. Penalties played such a big part in that. Of course, Debe with 8 seconds of penalties, Jack getting 14 seconds of penalties, Bartosz 17, 19 seconds was awarded to Matty in penalties, and then Barthez with 19 seconds of penalties. So I don't know if penalties are going to play a big part in this race. Based on what we saw in Split 2, a lot of clean driving, a lot of close battles. DRS was a big contender for those drivers, so that's going to be really, really fun to watch here. If you're new to FRL, welcome to some of the best F1 esports you're going to see. 50% races, one qualifying session of 18 minutes. Weather's always an issue. We never know what's going to happen. If it rains in Saudi Arabia, I'm going to be very surprised. I don't anticipate it will, but welcome to FRL. Anything that could happen will happen. So let's jump in here and let's see what is going to start off. So looking here at the moment, it looks like no drivers really rushing to get out on the track, which does not surprise me. We'll see here what the strategy is going to be. We saw a lot of split soft medium strategies come out of split 2. So split 1, I'm not sure if that'll be the same thing. It looks like one of the first drivers to go out is going to be Fishu out on a set of soft compound tires. And we'll see where Fishu ends up as he goes out on track here. for his first lap. If it would let me change the camera, there we go. Fishu first driver out on track, and then we see Crash, John Meister out as well. JJ not racing this weekend. So that'll be interesting to watch for Ferrari. When reserve drivers race, it only goes towards the Drivers' Championship, not the Constructors' Championship. So that will be interesting to watch here as we go around. Qualifying pole times we saw in Split 2 were around 129, 128. So we'll see exactly where the times land for our Split 1 drivers. Of course, real life record is a 130 as we discussed in Split 2, but the real life record doesn't seem to matter here in F1 2021. As we see Fishu come around the final corner here to start his first flying lap and the first flying lap of our qualifying session here in Jeddah. Comes around. Traction seemed to be a major issue for some of these drivers in Split 2, so it'll be interesting to watch and see exactly where our Split 1 drivers land in terms of everything. Track limits also a major issue. Coming around first sector here, Fishu is going to set out a 31.766 to start it. Our middle sector here, this chicane is going to be one of the ones that I think may catch some drivers off guard as they go through the race, as it seems to do in both real life and it did in Split 2. Same with the second chicane, a 59.6 as Fishu comes through the middle sector. This chicane is really dangerous for some drivers. It's going to be a real easy place to catch a track limits warning. As Fishu comes around here, final corners. Of course, 27 corners on this track. This track is one of the longer laps, and it's a very, very tight street circuit. And they come around here, final corner. What is it gonna be for Fishu? Fishu is gonna set the first lap of the race of the qualifying, and he puts in a 129.8, extremely competitive already. Behind him, his teammate Jack has invalidated. And then behind them, Tazo coming around the third sector. So different drivers out currently on different things. Barthez coming around, Crash with a 128.7, 128.2 coming in from Choppa. Barthez comes around. What is Barthez going to set in? A 128.5, putting himself up in the second place. And then behind them, we can see Kepa coming around, and Kepa is going to put in a time of a 128.9. Behind Kepa, we can see it looks like David puts in a 128.7. Behind him, Tazo puts in a 131 flat. Lots of drivers setting very, very fast laps already. Very competitive times coming out as we look around here. Zalaznia has started and done one flying lap. It looks like he invalidated. Barthez coming around the final corner here, and we can see one of the Hasses coming around the final corner as well. That would be the Haas of Pafixian. Pafixian going into the pits. The Red Bull of Saintex sets in a 128.7 per P3. Bartosz pits as well as we look here. Gamer 2021 coming around the final corner at the moment. And Barthez DNFing there in the middle sector. Unfortunately for him, Gamer 2021 comes around with a 129.5 to set his first time. So it looks like at the moment, lots of drivers setting very, very strong times. John Meister with another invalidated lap. A few drivers out. It looks like 29 Bailu is out on a flying lap coming through the first sector. And what time is he going to set in? Jack with a 127.6, answering Choppa's 128.2 with a very, very competitive time. Spaghetti Mafia, welcome to the stream. As we watch around here, as It looks like 29 Bailey coming around. Extremely strong time coming in from him at the moment. He's going to come around sector 2, and what is going to be his time through sector 2? A 59.3. Looking good so far as he comes around. As 29 Bailey comes around the third sector around turn 27. The final turn here in Saudi Arabia comes around final corner, and he puts in a 129.6, puts himself up into P11 at the moment. Lots of action out on track currently. True Hero coming around here, middle sector currently, and he is going to put in a 1 minute point five, a little bit behind here in the middle sector for True Hero compared to some of the other times we've seen. As True Hero comes around the final corner here, can he compete with his teammate Deva, who put in a 128.7 as he comes around? We're going to see exactly where he sets it, and he puts in a 131.0. We knew he was a little bit back, so lots of time for True Hero to find here as he goes through. Backs down in P20, coming around third sector at the moment. And Bax is going to come around. What is the time that he is going to set as he comes through the third sector? He is looking very strong, and he is going to put in a time of a 130.0, puts himself up into P13 at the moment. Still lots of time for these drivers to find, as we still have 5 drivers who have not set a time yet. Bartosz is out on a flying lap himself as he comes through the first sector, coming around, looking really strong so far through the first few corners. Following them through. This is the tricky part of the track, in my opinion, the first sector. It is where you can make or break your entire lap. I personally have a very hard time in the first sector. So seeing these drivers fly through here is very, very impressive, as the confidence has to be very, very strong as they go through. Watching Bartosz come through the middle sector here, he's looking very strong so far as he comes around. That's another tricky corner. You get pushed a little bit too far to the right, and it's going to be game over there. But just watching as he comes through the third sector, looking very competitive. We've seen lots of passes in split 2 go through this DRS zone, and then the passes invert down the main straight. I anticipate seeing that again in this race as Bartosz comes across here. The third sector going around. What is the time he's going to put in? It looks like he is going to put in a very strong time. He puts in a 129.0, sets himself up into P10 at the moment. But Zelazny is out on a flying lap, has yet to set a time himself. As he comes around first sector, he is going to set a first sector time of a 30.5, purple in the first sector. So will Zelazny have an answer to Jack's 127.6 at the moment, purple in the first sector? So it appears that he will. We'll see how Zelazny's car control is as he comes through the middle here of the middle sector. Looking very, very strong here. Zelazny, of course, the championship leader by a large portion with 5 podiums, 2 wins, 3 second places. A little bit of traffic. Traffic gets out of his way with no issue, though. Zelazny coming around here, third sector, looking very competitive here from the championship leader as he comes around. Will he be able to set another pole lap here, even though we are only about halfway through? Lots of drivers out on track at the moment setting laps, and it looks like Zelazny is going to throw himself into P2 with a 128.0. Not fast enough to compete with Jack's 127.6. Jack flying by 3/10 of a second on other drivers, and Jack out on another flying lap at the moment as he just started one. Looking here at drivers finishing their flying laps, it looks like Crash is coming around turn 27 to finish his flying lap. And Crash puts in a 128.3, sets himself up into P4 at the moment. And coming around behind that, Gamer 2021 going into the pits here. Along with it looks like Bartosh, who flies past him in the pit lane there as Gamer slowed way down way early. Looking at drivers out on track, we'll jump back in with Jack, who's flying through the middle sector currently. He was a tenth up in the first, or a tenth down in the first sector. And as he comes across the middle sector, did he gain any of that time back? It looks like no. He's now 1.3 down through the middle sector. Still have not seen a lap put in from Pafixian or John Meister. And it looks like we have a little bit of racing here from Jack and the Red Bull driver there. I believe that is going to be Syntax. Jack and Syntax going back and forth there. Both of them losing their laps coming through the final couple of corners. Not sure what happened there. Both drivers pitting though. So as we come around, Noda is out on a flying lap coming through the final corners here. And Noda coming around, I think that's going to be a pit for him, so he is not going to complete that lap. So we'll jump on board with True Hero, who is in the middle sector, setting another flying lap here. And it looks like as it goes through, True Hero may be in a great spot for a strong lap. True Hero coming around the final corner. He is a few seconds down, so I don't believe that True Hero is setting another flying lap at this moment. Yeah, he's significantly down, so it looks like True Hero diving into the pits. Lots of drivers in the pits now, so it's going to be a game of who decides to step out first in order to start another lap. You can see Gamer and John Meister both on outlaps at the moment, and Buchek is going to come across, and he does not improve. In fact, he is 8 seconds down, so I anticipate that was a cooldown lap for him. Matty coming around the final corner here. Matty has set a flying lap on these tires, but is he going for another? Seems like he may be in a good position to, and he is. He's coming around, and Buchek retires from the session with a wreck in the first sector, I believe. And Matty comes across, jumps himself into P4 on those used soft tires that had already done one lap, but he does another. Matty jumping himself into P4, showing that one lap is not all you have to do. And you can see there, that is where Buchek has retired. Looking around here, lots of drivers now on outlaps. Not a lot of drivers going in. Everybody going around. Chapa, Jack, Zalazna, Crash, Debe, Tazo. We'll see who starts their flying laps first. John Meister, of course, on a flying lap. Only driver who has not set one, so he is going to be the first one on his flyer. As we come around here, only a few laps left to go. Only a few minutes left to go. Sorry, not a few laps. We see John Meister comes around the first sector, puts in a 31.0, so a couple seconds down from what we've seen through the first sector. Three and a half minutes left to go here in qualifying, so at this point it is make or break for some of these drivers, which is why we see so many drivers out on the track. You can see Debe has started his flying lap. So has Bax. They both started their flying lap, and we see more drivers crossing the line to start their flying laps. It looks like Jack has now started his flying lap, and then behind him is going to be Kepa starting his, Gamer starting his. Now we're going to see Zalazna coming across starting his flying lap, and then behind him we're going to see Chapa starting his flying lap now. As they're starting theirs, John Meister is going to be coming across here. And what is the time John Meister is going to put in? John Meister looks to be fairly up at the moment. And what is John Meister going to do? John Meister comes across and John Meister puts in a 128.5, jumps himself into P9. Let's jump around here with some of these other drivers. As we see Debe is out on a lap as he's coming through the middle sector. He is up a tenth of a second through the middle sector, personal best time. And he's now up. He's up 2/10 in the middle sector, looking really strong. Personal best time for him as he comes around here. Final sector, looking very strong through that final chicane. Couple of left-handers for him here, and then it will be sayonara. Let's see what the time is at the line. Coming across here, turn 27. Looks like he's going to be in a good spot. Buddy Max Verstappen's it. And unfortunately for Debe, that means that that is going to be his qualifying over, as he does not have time to get around. He puts in a 128.3, up 1 millisecond from his time there. And we're going to jump on board here with Jack now. Jack is the first of our top three who is out on a flyer. Jack invalidating his lap. A minute 45 left, so this is going to be the only chance he has to throw in a lap here. Zalazny coming around, fighting with a little bit of traffic from an AlphaTauri. His teammate Tazo in front of him. Tazo jumps up P3, looking very strong. In front of them is a Red Bull. Red Bull is going to jump up into nothing. Zalazny sets a 127.4 though, puts himself up, and Chapa with a 127.3 to respond. So at the moment, Chapa holding on to his position here, and we can look 29 Bailu in P16 as we see other drivers coming across. Fixie and starting his one and only flying lap, it appears, with just a minute left here in this qualifying session. Pafixian risking it all with a one-shot quali. One and done is going to be the best he can do. We see Crash comes across and does not improve. Crash holding into P7. All the drivers out at the moment. Syntex out on a flying lap himself as he comes around second sector, and it looks like that is potentially Zalazny that he has right behind him. Zalazny trying to get around him. Pafixian wrecking in the first sector, so Pafixian not setting a time and is going to be starting from the bottom. And the Red Bull and the Mercedes are fighting here in qualifying coming through. Interesting to see as Syntex is on a flying lap, and I believe the Mercedes is on a slowdown lap. So interesting to see the drivers deciding to start racing and qualifying and not wait until the race. As Syntex comes around, and Syntex is going to have both Mercedes in front of him, and unfortunately that squabble there with the Mercedes drivers is going to cost him a lot of time coming through. So Syntex not setting a representative lap and setting a 130.6, not his best time. Chopper retiring from the session now, and that is going to be all she wrote at the moment. Jack in P3, is he setting a final flying lap? I believe he is. Jack coming around, invalidating his lap. So it looks like at the moment, Fishu also with an invalid lap. So True Hero has just wrecked his car. So that is your qualifying over, essentially. True Hero spinning on the final corner. Max Verstappening it, if you will. So that is going to be all she wrote, unfortunately, in this qualifying session. But if you're Choppa with a 127.3, you're going to be very happy. Zalazny with a 127.4, Jack in with a 127.6, 29 Bailu 127.8. Lots of very close competitive times, with the top 10 only being separated by a second. And then your entire midfield setting 128s, and then the back of the grid with 129s. But I don't think any of those times are truly representative here as we wait for the final couple of drivers to come around here. Jack, the last driver to go in and pit, and then that should finish up this session. I don't know if we're waiting on anybody at the moment. So with all that being said, it looks like as far as this qualifying session goes, that is going to be that. And that means I don't know what we're waiting on here. I don't know if we had a little bit of a desync issue or what. There we go. So Choppa in P1, Zalazny P2, Jack P3, 29 Bailu P4, Tazo 5th, Notice 6th, Maddie, Crash, Debe, and John Meister rounding out your top 10. That battle for the top 3 was very competitive, and it sets a good setting for the race. We're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll be in the formation lap for the race. Right, here we go with the formation lap. And as far as predictions go, I really think we need to watch Choppa. I think we need to watch Jalajna. And I really think we need to watch Jack. Jack has openly told me time in, time out, over and over and over again that this is one of his favorite tracks. So I really think that he is going to be one that we have to watch long term here in this race. And looking here at his qualifying performance, that would not surprise me a bit. Looking at other drivers, though, I don't think we can ever discount the Ferrari drivers. I don't think we can discount anyone, the Red Bulls included. Even though Red Bull hasn't had a strong season so far, I still expect them to look very strong long term. Pit stop strategy is soft to medium or soft to hard. Looking at tire options, most drivers are on softs, back in the back. Barthez, Syntex, Bax, Fishu, Gamer, True, Gamer, and Buchek are all on mediums, so they'll be looking to stop late and go onto a fresh set of softs. We saw this strategy play out in split two, and it was very. You plan on a one stop, but unless if there's a safety car, which we know there's going to be, it doesn't make a difference. So it's going to be really interesting to watch here long term where these drivers go and how the pit strategy evolves as we watch safety cars come into play. As the drivers come around the final couple of corners here and start forming up the lap, it always amazes me the difference between split two and split one. Split two, the field stay very bunched up through the formation lap. Split one, the drivers just kind of take off on their own and do what they want. So as the drivers come around, Pafixian will be the last driver to form up for the grid here, even though there's a couple of drivers that slowed down a little bit. But Pafixian, the driver in P20, who will get the better run off the line. We saw in split two that the inside line was the preferred line here through the first couple of corners. But will Jack be able to get a strong run and get a pass as we set up here? 5 red lights going out, and we are going to be underway here in split one, round six, and we see getting away there. We can see Debe diving around, the midfield sticking around, and Choppa getting a great run there, 29 on 29 Bailu. Jack, carnage going on in the midfield here, though. Lots of drivers getting mixed up, and it looks like most people are back underway. Lots of front wings flying around there, lots of carbon fiber, but Choppa is away there, and in the midfield, it looks like most drivers have gotten away well. A few tight battles here as we look around, though. Great battles coming out here in the middle of the pack as we see it looks like someone gets pushed wide. We have a yellow flag there as it looks like drivers are getting pushed all over the place here in the mid backfield. We knew that the first takeoff was going to be chaotic, and it sure was. Syntex coming around here, middle sector, looking really strong. John Meister up into P10, Crash into P11. However, Crash has some competition here from Bax as we look. And it looks like Bax is going to get the run up here. No to Matty Tazo here in P5, 6, and 7 battling. And it looks like Matty is going to take advantage here on Tazo. And then looking there, can Noda take advantage as well as they come around here? And it looks like Noda is right on the rear wing there of Tazo. And Noda very, very close as we come around here into Sector 3. Split one has proved carnage already around the first couple of corners, and we'll see what drivers have damage as they pit. Noda diving around the outside here on Tazo. He's going to break just a little bit later, and he is going to squeeze, and he is going to have the run here. Better traction coming out of the corner, and that means that Noda is going to be up into P6 as Choppa is running away already on Jalajna and Jack. Looks like first driver to blink and go in the pits is Tazo, who has damage. Buchek pitting as well, and Crash and Barthez, all drivers that were involved in that lap one carnage and took damage, and Debe. So they're all going to be looking at different pit stop strategies to run long here, or potentially just commit to a two-stop as we watch here. At the moment, it looks like Jack is having a strong battle with 29 Bailu and Jalajna as they go around. Lots of very, very close fights happening throughout the field. One good fight to watch here is Fishu as they come around and peek through. Fishu and True Hero battling here, trying to fight it out. And as they come around here, it looks like Fishu is going to lose out. Lots of drivers ghosted on my screen. I don't know if maybe that's just connection issues or exactly what that is. But as we go around here on lap 2, DRS will be available after this lap, which may help drivers like Jack and 29 Bailu start closing up gaps and chase down Choppa. As we look here, the field has seemed to calm down just a little bit at the moment, and I may have said that a little too soon here, though. As we go around here, and it looks like Jack and 29 Bailu are trying to keep up with Jalajnet and chase him down. And Choppa continues to speed up at 131.1 now, his race pace. DRS now enabled. Jack very, very close here to Jalajnet. So as the drivers come around here through turn 13, it looks like at the moment Jack half a second back here on Jalajnet and getting a better run than 29 Bailu. So as we look here, the battle in the midfield is what's really starting to heat up here. Look at John Meister, a 10th back at the moment. Bartosh having a little bit of a peek around the inside. John Meister is now he's going to look around, slipstreaming open. Can he get the pass done? He's going to look. He's going to say, hello, I'm here. Bartosh goes very defensive on the inside. John Meister's going to look around the outside. They're going to switch around again. DRS open, though. John Meister has a little bit better of a run, and he is going to say, thank you very much. I would like this position. And Pafixian's going to say, hello, I'm here. I want the position as well. They get a little bit swirly. Pafixian has horrible traction coming out of the corner, and it looks like at the moment that means John Meister, Bartosh, and Pafixian are settled out as DRS opens, though. So this battle is far from over. Going defensive each way. Pafixian getting around Bartosh and trying to put the squeeze on John Meister as well. He did for a second, didn't have it. Pafixian and Bartosh continuing the battle as we go through. Great battle here in the midfield for the bottom of the points paying places. As they come around here, it looks like at the moment it is going to be John Meister, Pafixian, and Bartosh, and they're going to settle up for just another minute. Looking up front of the field, though, Jack 4 tenths off of Jalajna. If he can keep up through the middle sector, that means he could have a great run through the final DRS zone in order to catch the lead here. Or catch P2, and then work on catching Choppa. Coming around here, it looks like Jack has a worse run through the middle sector, unfortunately, so he's not able to catch Jalajna as he wants to. Look here at John Meister, though. John Meister gaining significantly on Syntex. See Pafixian going extremely loose there in the back, and it looks like at the moment Syntex is going to be under deep trouble as Pafixian may have had a little bit of a contact there with Syntex's rear wheel. Pafixian's going to have a deep dive down the inside and bully Syntex out of his way. And that means Syntax is going to spin there at the end. And unfortunately for Syntax, that is going to be a horrible, horrible place for him to spin. I'm not sure if he had contact with someone or what happened. His car just seemed to go right around. No safety car, no VSC deployed, though. And for Syntax, he is very lucky he didn't DNF there. Going around, looking back here. Syntax in the pits, Kempa in the pits, lots of chaos. But let's jump up here with Jack, who is now only 2.5 tenths off of Jalajna. Can he keep up through the middle sector, though? We'll definitely stick around and find out here. If he can keep up in the middle sector, he has a very, very strong chance of getting the pass done. But look at the traction Jalajna has there coming through what I believe is turn 16, 17. Great runs there, and you can see Jack having to open and close his ERS in order to try to keep up with Jalajna, who gets great traction here through all of these chicane left-rights. But DRS is going to be open here. Can Jack get the pass done? He's going to look. He's going to go on the outside here. Jalajna with no DRS going around, and Jack says, "Thank you very much. I want this position. I'll have this position for myself." And now I'm going to set off on Choppa. 1.3 seconds the gap now, but Jalajna is going to have DRS here to fight back on Jack. Jack's going to have to go mega defensive as he comes through here. Looking around, Jack's going to look the inside. Jalajna is going to look on the outside. Is the pass done? The pass is done, and Jack is going to slot back in here. So for another lap, Jalajna in P2, and that is the trouble with passing here in Jeddah, is you get the pass done one way, and then the immediate next DRS zone, DRS swaps, and you lose the position back. You can't hold on to it. As we come around here, look at Pafixian holding on to his position at the moment. And we can see back here Noda and Maddie having a great battle as well, coming around turn 13. John Meister extremely close on Pafixian as well as they come through the middle. You can see John Meister trying to stick his wing where it doesn't belong. In, out, in, out. He's looking for any sort of a gap in order to make a pass happen. Look at John Meister, though. He is going to have to back out of it here as he was getting really, really close. Jumping down here at Jack and Jalajnik because it looks like Jack is going to finally have the pass down here as they dive around. So Jack is going to get P2 here, and now Jack needs to work on running away from Jalajnik here through the first sector. Jalajnik getting a little bit loose coming out of turn 1. And as things seem to settle their way back out and we start to get more intervals because F1 2021 is the best game ever and never breaks and never has a bug. Looking through, Jack still able to hold on to P2 as he comes around here. Looking back at different gaps though, there's a lot of different things happening. Fish you into the pits for a set of hard compound tires being the main one. So Fishu opting for the hards to run long to the end of the race. He's going to try to pass other drivers in as they go into the pit lane. But looking at gaps, look at the 14-second gap Tazo has there on True Hero. Lots of major gaps building up. And we saw this happen in Split 2 where the front couple of drivers built up major gaps. And then it was basically P3 on that had to battle. And it seems like we're starting to see the same thing happening here in Split 1. As we come around lap 7 of 25, a third of the way through this race almost. Pafixian and John Meister as John Meister spins, and that's a major crash there for John Meister, and that is going to be a VSC as John Meister has spun majorly, and he is very lucky that he did not DNF there. VSC deployed, and does anyone blink to go into the pits? 29 Bailu blinks and goes into the pits. We'll see what his team comes out with tire-wise. It looks like they're going to come out with a set of hard compound tires to take him to the end. We'll watch this pit stop really quick. Very clean pit stop from the Alfa Romeo team. And then the Haas of Pafixian is in the pits as well. What is Pafixian's team going to put on? They are going for a set of medium tires off of the softs. A little bit early to be pitting, but there it is. And we have a front wing change as well. DRS is now enabled as the VSC has now ended, and looking at gaps, it looks like Jack is going to benefit very much from that, but also so is Jalajne, as Jack caught just the right timing for VSC there, so a second is now the gap. He gained a couple tenths under VSC, and then Jalajne is down to 6 tenths of a second. I don't know if maybe he's just having a hard time following in the dirty air or what it is, but he doesn't seem to be able to get as close to the other drivers as close to Jack as Jack was able to close in on him. Moving around here, Jalajna has DRS. He has a little bit of a run on Jack here. He's not close enough, but he is going to be very close for the next DRS zone as they come around. And looking through, he's going to open his DRS now. Is he going to have the run? And he does have the run, and there it goes around the outside. Jack losing out on his position. And for another lap, we have a run here as Chapa dives into the pits now, the leader giving up and going onto a set of mediums. What is he going to lose out to as we see Bax and True Hero battling here? And that means that Chapa is going to hold on to P4, but only just. I'm watching here for another lap. Lots of tight battles throughout the field. It's very, very fun to watch here. Another good battle to watch is going to be Butchik here in P11 trying to keep up with Gamer. I don't know what that camera was that we just saw, but here we go on a proper camera. As the drivers come around here, looking very, very strong. It's got to be said that these drivers are doing good to keep up, but let's talk about Jack and Jalajna. Only a couple tenths the gap here, and Jack is going to have the help of DRS again, even though he had a poor run out of the corner. Can Jack pass here into turn one? 2.5 tenths the gap, 2 tenths the gap, not close enough to make the pass happen. Jack thinks better of it and backs out for another lap. Jumping here, P5 backs in True Hero. True Hero has the DRS here. True Hero's a little bit closer. Can he make this pass? Looks around the outside and he says, hello, good day, bye-bye, Bax. And he is now up into P5. Lots of passes happen under DRS here in Jeddah. Unfortunately, that is just one of the things with this track that happens. It's not great, it's not horrible, it's just one of the things that happens here. As we go around and we watch here into the second sector, Jack still trying to chase down Jalajna, still not close enough for the pass. Jalajna, oh, did he tap the wall there? That could be the little bit of the mistake that Jack needs in order to get a pass done. And we can see the gap now closing 1.5 tenths the gap, a tenth the gap. Will he try to make a dive here before the DRS zone? He doesn't. He has to back out a little bit as he had a little bit too much speed. So the gap now 3 tenths of a second as they hit DRS. DRS is wide open for Jack. Will he be able to get the pass done going into the final corner? Looking around here, Jack sticking his wing to the outside. They're wheel to wheel. They're coming around. They're coming around. And then Jack switch back here. Jack is going to have the DRS again as they cross the other DRS detection line, and they're side by side, so a little bit better of a run. They're both going into the pits, though. What do you know? They both decide to pit there, and they almost squeeze each other out. Neither driver has something to serve here. Maddie into the pits now, so Chapa will be relinquished back into the lead of this race. By how much of a gap, though? And who between Jack and Jalajna is going to get out of the pits first? As we watch here, Jack is going to be right behind Jalajna, so this is going to be a very tight battle. Where are they going to come out? Is traffic going to affect this? As they come through, Jack just barely gets ahead of True Hero there. So Jalajna and Jack able to hold on to P2 and P3 here. As we come around lap 11 of 25, lots of DRS passes happening over and over and over again here. Someone passes somebody, someone switches back. Someone passes somebody, someone switches back. That is the fun with Jeddah. As we watch here, Jack's attempts to chase down Jalajna, and 4 seconds now the gap between Chapa and Jalajna. Will they be able to get this pass done? Safety car has been deployed as John Meister is DNF'd. Safety car here on lap 11. I did not see what happened there, but for the drivers who just made pit stops, they're going to be very upset. Chapa diving into the pits, though. Risky strategy here from the leader, who's on one lap all mediums. I wonder what the strategy is here from him. We're on lap 12, so softs won't make it to the end. Is he going on to another set of mediums? Yes, he is. Did he have wing damage? No, he's just going on to another set of mediums. I wonder what the idea is here from him as Jalashne goes in and goes onto a set of softs. That's an interesting strategy as softs are really only predicted to last for 10 laps. So he'll have to stretch them for a few laps, which is going to mean he's not very competitive near the end. So Jack being relinquished to the lead here on lap 12 under safety car. So lap 12 here, and we've seen a lot of good action happening between these drivers. Tazo here back in P8 trying to catch up. So after the pit stops sort themselves, it's now Jack, Maddie, Choppa, Jalajna, True Hero 29 Bailu backs on a fresh set of hard tires. Interesting, because mediums can make it to the end from here. And then Tazo, Noda on 3 lap old mediums. Buchik on fresh softs, Pafixian on fresh softs, Crash on mediums, Bartosh on mediums, Debit on mediums, Gamer on softs, Fishu, Barthez, Kepa on fresh tires, and then Syntex on a set of mediums way back in the back of the field. We come around here, it's going to be really important for these drivers these first 2 laps after safety car to get going and really push and build up a gap because otherwise they're going to be in trouble as they go. Because once DRS opens, as we see, it's just a back and forth DRS train of pass after pass after pass. So the drivers need to really make sure that they get around early. I think this is my favorite corner in any F1 game. The turn 13 hard left-hander because it is banked, which just makes it so fun to sling your car into and go. We come around here. Safety car should be in this lap. However, they won't call it until they get closer to the final corner, which means when they do, Jack will have control of the field and he'll be able to just kind of go around and do what he needs to. Jack and Maddie both have 3-second penalties. Jalajna and True Hero have penalties. Tazo, Bartosh, and Fishu all have penalties. Looking at the winners and losers, True Hero up 13 places. Big loser so far, John Meister with the DNF. However, Syntex down 7 positions, also having a very unfortunate race. All drivers have done at least one stop. And then looking at fastest lap, it comes from Jalajna with a 130.9. So as the drivers come around here, final corner, Jack takes control of the field, and you can see he is bunching the field up a lot here, giving the safety car plenty of room. We saw in split 2 that wasn't necessarily the case, but here in split 1 they're gonna do plenty of bunching here. So Jack is now back underway, which means Jack has control of the field here. Looks like Chapo isn't expecting that. So Maddie is going to get around here. Maddie's in P2, and we can see drivers drag racing back in the back. Syntax, the lap car, back there as well. Jack coming around here in the lead. As we watch some of these other drivers go around, we can see Tazo and Bax having a great battle here, and it looks like Tazo is going to be around Bax as they come through and in the lead. Jack has opened up a 1.4-second gap, though, as they go around. And look at Crash and Pafixian and Bartosh back here with a very, very, very close battle. Very, very close here as they come through the first lap. Coming around here, Choppa coming through 3/10 of a second. Jalajna only 2/10 back. The two powerhouses here in FRL, Jalajna and Choppa with great one-lap pace, trying to fight each other out here. In traffic, though, usually we see them in free air. In traffic, how are they going to react? How do they handle as the drivers come around? They are going to be coming through, and it looks like at the moment we have a yellow flag back in the middle sector. That is going to be for Buchik, who has spun, but Choppa is going to be coming around here. Choppa has the run on Maddie. They are side by side coming here into the final corner, and it looks like this may cost Maddie another position, as Jalajna is right there as well. Jack needs to build up more of a gap here in order to be safe. At the moment, Maddie right behind Choppa and Jalajna right behind them. Maddie's going to break off to the side. Choppa's going defensive on Jalajna. Jalajna is right there, though, and Maddie's going to lose out another position as Choppa gets around him, or as Jalajna gets around him, and Choppa is now in front there. So, top three, Jack, Choppa, Jalajna. Jack building up a 2-second gap now. Through the first sector, Jack is absolutely flying. Choppa and Jalajna are going to have to push in order to catch up, or Jack needs to hope that they have a very, very long, drawn-out battle that can give him the opportunity to get more passes done and get moving. Going around here, Choppa and Jalajna, 2/10 of a second the gap. 3/10 now up to 4/10. So it looks like Jalajna not having a great run through the chicanes compared to Choppa, but Jalajna is having a great run in other sections of the track. Differences in setup are very important as Choppa up 2/10 in the middle sector sets a purple middle sector coming around. Buchik gets a penalty there, and coming around here, still Choppa and Jalajna. Jack gap only 1.3 seconds now, so Jack absolutely struggling in the middle sector, it looks like. Looking here, Jack and Jalajna and Choppa's battle. Jalajna on the inside, a little bit more of a run, and you can see behind them though, Maddie and 29 Bailu battling it out. Maddie diving back in for another lap as Jalajna and Choppa have settled out, and Jalajna now into P2, released to go chase down Jack. Unless Choppa is able to get around him again here. We are now on lap 16 to 25, just 10 laps to go here. And you can see just the difference in speed. Jalajna closing the gap down to half a second now. As Jalajna goes purple in the first sector, so Jalajna holding nothing back. As we come around, gap now to 4/10, down to 3.5/10, down to 3/10. This battle up front is far from over as we go around through into the third sector. Jalajna may have the pass done before the DRS zone. 1/10 of a second the gap. Jack is just not having good runs. The difference in tire compound is going to prove that detrimental to Jack as they come around. Jalajna with DRS open. Is he going to have the pass done before the corner? There is the side-by-side, and it looks like he backed out and right at the end there, and Jalajna backing out here because he's going to want the pass on the main straight so he can open up and run away from Jack as they come around here, and they're going through, and Jalajna is going to have the pass done, and he's going to set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix while doing it. Choppa behind Jack with DRS open, but Choppa can't get the pass done. Jack on the mediums is going to have to wait for the softs to wear out. 8 laps to go here in FRL as we see the top three still trying to settle the squabble for who is what. Noda and Crash having a great battle, and then back behind them, Barthez and Kepa battling it out here, and Bax and Bartosh. Bax and Bartosh, a great battle here as they're side by side coming through, and it looks like Bartosh is going to back out of it here and give up the Fishu. Jalajna purple in the first sector gone, and he said, I have my first place. You're not getting it back. Tag, who's it? I'm it. Gone and out. Jack up into P2 here. Choppa into P3. And 7/10 a second the gap separating each of these top three cars. As we come around here through third sector at the moment. And it looks like Jalajna just getting great runs through corners. I don't know if it's a difference in setup or what it is, but Jalajna gap up to 1.5 seconds now, and Choppa is going to be putting some pressure on Jack. As we see in the overhead cam, Choppa is going to dive the inside here, and he's going to have it done on Jack and have the pass done. Jack now down into P3. But Jack does have the help of DRS here. Can Jack make the pass and get P2 back? DRS open. They're side by side going into turn one. Jack locks up a little bit, and coming out of it, it looks like Jack, they're still side by side. They make some contact there. And you can see the hand says how Choppa feels about that. And Jack has to resort to P3 at the moment. But you can see he has immense pace here. And he's not going to give up at the moment on Choppa. So they are still battling it out. And this is far from over from the Haas and the Alpine driver. As they come around into the middle sector, we've got a yellow flag back in the back, and it looks like that is going to be Crash, who has done what his name says. And Crash and Pafixian is retired from the session, and that is going to be your second safety car here on lap 18. I don't know what happened, but it looks like whatever it was, it happened in the middle sector. But safety car is now deployed, and for Jalajna, that is going to be unfortunate for him, as that is going to be the last thing he wanted to see right now. Is that is going to rebunch the field and give Jack and Choppa the opportunity to get a pass done again. Who is going to do what with pit strategy, though? Are Mercedes going to call in Jalajna? And they are not. Is Haas or Alpine going to call in their top drivers here at the moment? And it looks like no, they are playing a game of follow the leader, and they're just going to risk it to the end at this point. Lap 19 of 25, so this is probably going to be a 5-lap shootout to the end of the race here. Second safety car. It'll be really, really exciting to watch exactly where these drivers go in and how this race occurs, because at this point, looking at tires, you have Jalajna on 6-lap-old softs, so his tires are going to start dying off soon, and then you have Choppa and Jack on mediums. So it's a matter of how much the softs get to cool down and reset and how much the softs are conserved. coming through the safety car period here, or if the medium drivers can kind of keep their tires set up and ready to go. Also, we saw how Jack did his restart, and Jack was able to get a great run off the restart, even though eventually the soft tires caught up to him. Is Jalajna going to be able to catch the restart here and be able to run away, or is Jalajna going to get caught out and have a bad run, and then Choppa and Jack are ready for it and able to take advantage through the first lap? Of course, no DRS for 2 laps after safety car, so if they were to go green here, we wouldn't see DRS again until lap 24. Well, lap 23. No, it'd be lap 24. Sorry, I can't do math here. So we are going to see a very, very quick shootout here of 4 laps. And it doesn't look like safety car is going to be called in this lap. Well, never mind. We're on the wrong side of the track. I thought we were on a different side of the track than we're on. That's my fault. I I hope none of the drivers try anything crazy as they come through here. I really hope that this race stays clean and nobody does anything risky or unnecessary. But all it would take is one little brake lock up, which we've seen Jack lock his brakes a little bit here and there. So, I mean, I don't anticipate anyone doing anything risky, but when you've got 5 laps left, it's really just a matter of who can get it done and who can win. Safety car is going to be in this lap, which means Jalajna is going to have control of the field as they come through. And I'm curious to see how his safety car restarts differ from Jack. We saw Jack back the field as far up as he could. Is Jalajna going to do the same thing as the safety car is rounding the final corner and going towards the pits? Jalajna is backing up the field a lot. When is he going to go, though? Is he going to go now in the middle of the corner? He is not. He is still going slow here. And now he's going to go with the DRS line, and he is back underway, and it looks like Jack was expecting it. So Jack is going to have a run on top of here going into the first corner, and he's going to have a look here. Jack is going to brake a little bit sooner. He knows better than to try anything too risky. As we watch the drivers here in the midfield, everybody seems to get through that corner with no issues. So we'll jump back here up front as we are seeing Tazo battling it out here, and Maddie and Barthez and Kepa and Bartosh. Lots of strong battles here in the midfield, but it's the front that we really have to watch here. Choppa, Jalajna, and Jack. Who is going to finish where in these final places with 5 laps left to go, as everything is still to play for? The Red Bulls battling it out back to the back with the Williams. Coming around here, look at the speed they carry out of turn 13, coming around into the middle sector. I'm saying coming around a lot, and I'm going to have to stop that as they come through. Going around Jack, great run through the chicane there. He is going to be right on the back here of the Haas driver of Choppa as they come into the third sector. And they go around and they peek through. Great run through the chicane. And Jack, is he going to be able to have the pass done here? No DRS, so it's all about the slipstream and the overspeed. And he's settling in here, settling in. Gap 2.5 tenths at the moment. And the battle here for the lead is far from done as Tazo is getting ready to come into play with it. As Tazo, we can see in the back, trying to have a run here around 29 Bailu. And Tazo does get the pass done around 29 Bailu, so that puts Tazo up into P4, which means now Tazo can set off on defeating Jack. Penalties galore for these top 4, though. We'll look at who has what. Jack has 6 seconds of penalties now, while everyone else has 3. So if the race were to finish now, Jack would drop into P7. So at the moment, it is just detrimental. And True Hero now being wrecked out of the session in the first sector. And there's a safety car on lap 22. Why do I smell Michael Massey sticking his foot into something he shouldn't. So we'll have a one lap shootout after safety car. And unfortunately, for a lot of these drivers with penalties, that means they're going to have a very, very bad time as we come around. I would imagine none of these drivers are going to pit at the moment, or if they do, they're crazy. I don't know why you would pit at the moment. But if you're 29 Baylor, you're going to be celebrating because 29 Baylor is basically going to be guaranteed the win at the moment if things stay the way they are and he can keep up after the safety car restart due to the amount of penalties that there are. But there's no way to know exactly what's going to happen here. As we come around, are any drivers going to go into the pits from the top? It does not look like any drivers are going to opt to pit at the moment. And the only driver that is pitting is Kappa, and I believe that's just because he has damage. And as we're on lap 23 of 25 here, and they come around into the middle sector, will the safety car come in this lap or will it stay out one more lap? As the grid is now formed up, so it is just a matter of when they call in the safety car. And it looks like Buchek gets a 5-second penalty for a collision with Bartosz. And safety car is in this lap, so we will have a 2-lap shootout here for the end of the race. And I can't help but imagine that Jalajne is going to learn from his mistakes of last time and try to go a little bit faster. And you can see it looks like he is going to go a little bit sooner. A little bit faster, a little bit faster. He's still swerving. He hasn't hit the gas yet. And now he's going to hit the gas there on the inside. And it looks like Chapa was not ready for it. And neither was Jack or Tazo. As it looks like Tazo is going to have a look up the inside there on Jack. And that's going to put them 3 wide into turn 1 potentially. And Tazo is just going to dive it in. Chapa holding on to it. And then there's Jack holding on as well. It looks like Jack and Tazo still having a great battle here. And is Jack going to be able to hold on to it? It looks like Jack does, and that puts himself in. 29 Bailu, all he has to do at the moment is just hold on, and 29 Bailu is going to win this race. So 29 Bailu just needs to keep 3 seconds, within 3 seconds to him and Jalajna for 2 laps. Is he going to be able to do that as he is on soft tires? I don't know that he will. Look in the midfield, though. Look at the battle between Noda and Maddie and Barthez as they come around. Great run coming through, and then the lap car is in the way as well. Coming around here, lap 24 in the middle sector. Everyone seems to have settled things out at the moment. Purple in the middle sector from Tazo. So Tazo really trying to chase things down. And as I've said, 29 Bailu just needs to hold on within 3 seconds of Jalajne in order to have the win. He's currently at 2.3, so he needs to put the pedal down. as we come around and start this final lap of the Grand Prix here. Jalajna in the lead. Tazo 2/10 of a second here. Chapa right behind there, and then Jack 6/10 of a second behind Jalajna. It's all so close and so much to play for at the moment. It's anyone's guess here who's going to win and how this ends as we look here at the intervals and the gaps, and everything is still so close after the safety car, and Chapa is still so close to Jalajna trying to have a peek around. As they come around middle sector, Chapa is just a tenth off here and just right there. And there is some contact there between Shalajny and Chapa. And Chapa's going to have to dive off the track and eat another 3 second time penalty there. So Jack is now in the mix to catch up here. And we have such a tight battle. Chapa's going to dive it around the inside, and he's going to go around Shalajny here on the outside. And he gets past there. Is Jack going to be able to get past here around Jalajna as well? As they look around, they're not over this battle yet. As we can see, Jalajna has a good run on Chapa again, and Jack's coming through. Is this over? It is not. Chapa's around, and Jalajna is going to have a dive around the outside here. Is there going to be contact? There's no contact. There's just enough space, but Jack's on the inside now. Jack up into P2. Can Jack get the drag race for P1? Jack trying to drag race Jalajna here to the line. Who is going to have this? And it's just barely Jalajna, but as penalties apply, 29 Belu gets the win, and Jack drops all the way down into P5. So close to having P1 on track. What a close fight that was. But 29 Belu keeping his nose clean, and with no penalties up into P1, Jack dropping all the way to P5 after penalties applied. What a drag race to the line that was for Jalajna and Jack. But with penalties, it did not make a difference. Wow. And then fastest lap is now set by Crash with a 1:29.6. What a way to end split one here in FRL round 6. Jack so close to the P1 on track, but again, as penalties apply, it does not make a difference what you do. Kepa with driver of the day as deserved, and 29 Belu with what I believe is his first win in FRL. He's had 2 P3s this season, and then this is going to put him on the top step of the podium as long as nothing crazy happens. And then look at the Mercedes drivers, both on the podium. Jalajna and Tazo again securing their domination. Alfa Romeo, though, getting up on the podium. And for Alfa Romeo, that is going to play wonders in the Constructors' Championship, as they are going to be looking to jump up into P2 in the Constructors, as they're only 2 points back currently on Ferrari. Mercedes is going to be securing more and more of the gap. Mercedes, at this rate, can secure the Constructors' Championship before 3/4 of the way through the season. What an amazing race. That was such a good race. Anyways, that is going to be all we have here for you in FRL here in round 6. Join us next week for round 7 when we're in Japan, Suzuka, a great track, one that weather is maybe going to play a part in. Nobody knows. Weather always plays a part in FRL, let's be real. But I hope you enjoyed Split 2. Thanks for sticking around through both Split 2 and Split 1 if you did. If you're interested in joining and being a racer here in FRL, check out the Discord. Check out the links to our socials. Everyone's welcome. We would love to have you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out here to us. Otherwise, that is all we've got for you here in FRL. Have a great week. We'll see you back here same time next Sunday.